Hi, my name is
John C.
I'm just kidding. My name is AJ Wilson, and the poster behind me is the movie I'm going to do. I'm doing The Boondock Saints. I had originally planned on doing The Prayer, but just the way I had it just didn't add up. So, like I said, this is The Boondock Saints. The Boondock Saints was a vision of first-time director Troy Duffy. Prior to directing this beauty of an independent film turned cult classic, Duffy worked at a bar trying to make his way into the music scene when he witnessed a dead woman being wheeled out of a drug dealer's apartment. That is most of the quote from Duffy's Wikipedia page. There are conflicting reports on how Duffy actually came up with the idea. Another report is Duffy saw a drug dealer take money off of a dead person outside his apartment. I guess it doesn't matter which one is the truth because they're both really horrifying. I tried watching a documentary about Duffy, but there was so much swearing and crude language, and I was only 10 minutes in. You can tell Duffy was starting to get a big head, and definitely not the kind of guy I would see myself hanging out with, but dang, he makes a great movie. That's why a lot of his contract dealings after the Boondock Saints fell through was because of his attitude. Duffy actually does a great job for being a first-time director, and his ideas come to life even more with incredible talent like Sean Patrick Flannery, Norman Reedus, and Willem Dafoe. As the writer, he even redid the script in order to fit David Della Rocco. The cinematography was great. In one of my favorite scenes, the scene where the brothers go after their first targets, the audience gets to see an almost 360-degree view of the room. This is not only broke the 180 rule, it absolutely destroyed it. It is interesting to note that this was not a stage set, as you can see the entire room. The music you're hearing is from The Brood, and I will talk about that at a more later time. There are a lot of on-set locations, such as police stations, meat factories out on the streets. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the uniformed officers were actually the officers used to try and keep people away. The angle the camera uses whenever they're about to assassinate someone is kind of like the view between me and my poster. I'm below them, actually on my knees. I'm not on my knees, but the person they're about to assassinate is. While they tower over me, giving them a look of righteous vengeance and power. There are multiple scenes that break the 180 rule, but it's done expertly and smoothly that you don't even really notice it unless you look for it. One of my favorite scenes is when they go and I really enjoy the way the scenes are edited because it really looks like they're bringing you into the moment. The scene I mentioned earlier where the McManus brothers go after their first targets, a group of Russian mobsters. They fell through a vent with their legs entwined by rope that just seconds before was the subject of a very funny back and forth between the two. When the brothers fell, the vengeful hand of God guided the brothers' aim as they smote evildoers in the room. While they smote, the scene went into slow-mo, so you can see every single person being shot individually. There's a scene where the McManus brothers and Rocco are up all night drinking, and Rocco slams his hands down on the table and accidentally shoots a cat. The cat then explodes all over the wall and everyone freaks out. I had planned to use the scene, but there was a lot of F-bombs and other colorful language in just that short 42-second clip. Fun fact, in the Boondock Saints, the F-word and its other derivatives are said 264 times. 246 times, I mean. That scene clip, the 42-second one, was only 9 of them. So I figured it was a little inappropriate for this assignment. But the sound effects were really spot on. The movie itself had some really graphic parts. There was a scene where the McManus brothers, friend Rocco, the guy who shot the cat, beats a man to death with a cue ball from the man's own pool table. Yeah. The mix between Rocco's grunts, the sound of the cue ball hitting the man's head, and the music playing in the background made the scene incredibly graphic, and it made it more real. You can almost feel the impact and the adrenaline that comes from it, though I'm sure I didn't have anywhere near the adrenaline rush that Rocco did, as he was the guy beating someone to death. Not me, it's on tape, I'm admitting it, I did not do it, it was Rocco. I have video evidence. The musical score was actually written by Duffy's band, The Brood, which I've talked about earlier. The music really helped bring the scene together, so I guess Duffy has more than just directing chops. The editing and the sound effects are what I consider to be perfect sound effects. A perfect sound effect for me, as I have said in other assignments, is something that does not bring me out of the illusion that is the movie. To me, a movie is all about being sucked into it and being part of that world, being an observer. And perfect editing and sound effects means that I'm not brought out of it. All the squelches and squishes and bangs and pops of the sound effects really kept me engrossed in the film. It didn't seem too over the top, it didn't seem melodramatic or unnecessary. They all kept me entranced and focused on the film itself, which is why this is, which is one of the reasons why I love this movie. I am, from the word go, completely focused on this movie. I jumped just like the three characters did when Rocco shot the cat. If you don't mind a little bit of... Okay, not a little bit. If you don't mind graphic language, violence, and Willem Dafoe pretending... Well, not actually pretending, he is a transvestite in this movie. If you don't mind that, watch this movie. It is amazing. Alright, that is my time with you guys. I will see you later.